Hello everyone, Spaniard here. Today I want to provide you with some clarification about trusts, okay? And it's the big issue which has caused a lot of kerfuffle online. It's caused a number of parties to come out and attack me personally, okay? They've attacked me personally. They've attempted to discredit me. They've attempted to for want of a better word, slagged me off, right? Coming up with a whole host of allegations against me, all right? Um, and the reason that they are coming out with these allegations is because they cannot argue the pure and simple facts about trusts. And the simple fact about trusts is this: every single trust has a legal title and is therefore administered and or enforced in legal land. You can't get away from it. And I'm going to prove this to you right now. In fact, even more powerful than that, I'm going to give you the questions in order that you can prove this to yourself. And if you know anything about trusts, and you only need to know the basics in order for this to fall into place and for you to say, yeah, you know what, Spaniard is correct. And you know what? I am correct, right? I know I'm correct. But obviously, there are certain parties out there who woke up recently, have not conducted due diligence, may or may not have agendas, may or may not be wanting to confuse you as a result of those agendas, possibly, I don't know. But they certainly are not there and are not intending to educate you. That cannot be their goal, because if it were their goal, then they would have conducted a smidgen of due diligence after I started pulling them up, right? So anyhow, look, let's put all that to the side. Let me get to the crux of the issue. We've got certain parties out there who are saying, oh, a lawful trust is different from a legal trust. We've got certain parties saying, oh, well, you've got this thing called a legal trust, but then you've got this thing called a private legal trust, which stands outside of legal land. Really? You've then got people saying, well, you've got this thing called a private legal trust, but then you've got this thing called a private trust, which stands outside of legal land. I don't care how you dress it up. I want you to ask those gurus, alleged gurus, I want you to ask those alleged teachers, those alleged well-informed people, I want you to ask them the following question, right? The following question. In a lawful trust, is there a beneficiary? Yes or no? Now, the answer to that question is yes, there is a beneficiary. The second question, in a lawful trust, is there a trustee? Now, the answer to that question is yes, there is a trustee. And here is the third and final killer question, okay? And I want you to watch the face of the guru as you ask this question. In a lawful trust, which title does the trustee hold? Okay, that's the question. It's really simple. And this is the answer. The trustee, whether you're talking about an alleged lawful trust, a private trust, a legal trust, a private legal trust, a whatever trust you're talking about, the trustee holds the legal title. Therefore, every trust is, by pure definition, a legal trust. I don't even have the words to describe the utter stupidity that I am witnessing out there, okay? Oh dear. Now, moving on to the second part of this clarification video, and it comes down to something which certain parties have, as far as I'm concerned, they have manipulated, okay? And they've manipulated what I've said in order to try to, again, discredit me and to give added credibility to what they're saying. These are the same people who are propagating what I consider absolute toilet with regards to this lawful trust being different from a legal trust, right? All lawful trusts are legal trusts. End of story, right? The question is not about whether it's legal or lawful. The question in the context of a trust relationship is whether or not it is subjected to the vehicle, the vessel, the relationship, whether that's subjected to a domestic jurisdiction for most people are going to be concerned about tax purposes. That's another story and the subject matter for our whole nother video, right? In fact, we've got the answers to those questions over at the youandyourcash.com website, the whiterabbittrust.org website, the empowerthepeople.earth website, okay? But let me get back to the point of clarification. I have said that it is a prima facie criminal offence for someone to draft and sell trusts when they are not qualified. Remember, every trust has a legal title. So you're dealing in legal land, which means you're dealing with legal language, which means you're dealing with legal matters. Okay? The legal jurisdiction. Every trust. In order for someone to draft and sell, right? That's the important bit. The selling bit, drafting and selling trusts, in order for someone to do that, they must have some legal nous. They must have a legal qualification. They must be a solicitor, a barrister, or a notary. End of story. If you want to go and draft your own trust, your own trust, your own trust, then that's a matter for you. There's nothing stopping you doing that. And on your head be it. If you goof it up, if you're not qualified legally, if you don't know what you're talking about, if you've got no experience, if you don't understand the language, if you don't understand the parameters or requirements of a trust and this, that, and the other, well then, you go right ahead and do it, right? It's your property on the line. But I think that you would be stupid for doing so. But hey ho, that's your call, right? I don't own you. I don't control you. You are welcome and you have the right, let me put it that way, you have the right to experience the fallout of drafting a shoddy trust and putting your assets into it. You have the right to experience the demands for tax because you've put too much value into a trust. You have that right. You have the right to experience all of that. Okay? And if you want to go do that, then you go do that. What I've attempted to do is prevent you from making mistakes. But hey ho, you know what? What do I know, right? What do I know? You go right ahead and you do what you want to do. So the point I'm trying to make here is it's the drafting and selling of trusts. And what these manipulators have tried to do is they've tried to turn it around and say, oh, well, Spaniards saying you can't draft your own trust as a private man. That's not what I've said, is it? That's not what I said. So these manipulators are manipulating what I've said, and they are adjusting it for their own means. Now, you really, I would suggest, you have to question what's in it for these people. Why are they, A, going out to personally attack me? Well, I would suggest they're personally attacking me because they can't attack the facts. They can't attack the facts because the information is good. It's true, right? They can't attack that, so they've got one option left. They've got one option to try to cover their tracks, cover their backsides, try to, save face, make themselves look, as if they're not trying to stitch you up, or they're not trying to confuse you, or they're not trying to lead you astray, or they're not just trying to make money off your back, or that they do know what they're talking about. They've got only one way of doing that, and that's to attack me personally. And how have they attacked me personally? Let me give you an example. I've been accused of being a cokehead. I've been accused of being a paedophile. I've been accused of being a con man, a scammer, a fraudster. All because these certain parties cannot argue the facts. They can't come up with the facts to dispel what I'm saying. They can't actually counter what I'm saying. They can't cite any of the law which undermines what I'm saying. They can't do any of that, right? Which is what you would expect when you're talking about, some kind of discourse in law, right? They can't do any of that. All they can do is try to cast aspersions and try to slag me off. Now, if you want to follow those people, if you want to follow people like that, again, you have the right to do whatever you want to do. There's a caveat with that. You have the right to do whatever you want to do up to the point where it infringes on someone else's rights. Let's cut back to the chase, okay? There are certain parties out there who are, in my opinion, they are spouting a whole load of rubbish, all right? A whole load of rubbish. Let's not forget that the pandemic was thrust upon everyone, right? Everyone. It brought government imposition, it brought government control to your front door, to the front door of everyone. And it caused a lot of people to ask questions. Unfortunately, that was a kind of enforced wake up call for a lot of people. And within that large group of people that woke up and that began asking questions, there was a group of people, a small group of people, who lack morals. They are out for themselves. They don't conduct due diligence. They are ego driven. They are fame driven. They are follower driven. They are tick driven. And they just want to make a name for themselves. They just want that feeling of, I don't know, celebrity. I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what you would call it. I mean, it provides, the party that is leading and has followers, as it were, has an element of control. I would suggest that they have a responsibility. They have a responsibility to provide accurate information, if that's how they've gained their followers, through the distribution of alleged information. They have a responsibility to provide accurate, true, factual information. It is therefore irresponsible to mislead your followers. It is therefore irresponsible to just make things up about people. It is therefore irresponsible to cast aspersions and falsehood, because then you're causing harm, loss, and damage. And the funny thing is that these certain parties, right, they keep spouting this common law, do no harm, cause no loss. There's no such thing in common law. There's no such thing in common law. Maybe there should be, but there isn't any such thing in common law. And the people spouting that are actually the ones causing harm and loss to those that follow their made up, unproven solutions, or they follow their misguided, ill-advised, ill-researched advice. Okay? The whole no harm, no loss came about when people were saying, well, hold on, how can I have committed a crime if there's no victim? Okay, this was arguments from years ago. Is it a crime if there's no victim? If there's no harm and no loss, then what am I being prosecuted for? That's where that came from. And somehow that's morphed into, that's the common law. No, that's not the common law. But I'm not going to go there any further. The reason for this video was twofold. It was to bring clarity to this issue of alleged lawful trusts versus legal trusts, all right? And it was also to provide you with the questions so you can go prove this for yourself. I'm sure a lot of you, having watched this video and having heard me go through those questions, you immediately knew the answer to the third question. The third question being, what title does the trustee hold? The title is legal title. It's obvious. The clue is in the question, right? And for those of you that have sense, right, and you have ears and you have eyes, you're going to immediately say, well, hold on a second. Well, of course, then that makes sense. Every trust must be a legal trust. If every trust has a legal title, every trust must be a legal trust. So we're looking at this wrong, right? It's not a question of public or private. It's not a question of lawful or legal. It's not a question of that, right? You're applying those words in the wrong context. I'm hoping that's provided you with some clarification. Look, final words. What can I say? Look, you like who you like, okay? You may like people that tell you what you want to hear, all right? I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'll tell you what I've discovered. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you what I believe is the best way forward in a given circumstance. I'm not going to tell you what I think you want to hear. I'm not going to tell you what's required to make other people look bad. I'm not just out to make other parties look bad. I'm out to correct certain behaviors. That's what I'm here to do, right? Someone has to do it. And so I've stuck my neck on the line in order to do it. Yes, again, I've stuck my neck on the line. I stuck my neck on the line back in 2008, 2009, 2010, when I started revealing some of this stuff and teaching some of this stuff, right? I stuck my neck on the line and put up some of the first videos about this on YouTube. I stuck my neck on the line. And here I am again from 2022 onwards, sticking my neck on the line to call out some of those people that woke up when they were forced to wake up. Maybe it wasn't the right time for them to wake up, but they woke up. And maybe they weren't the right type of people to wake up, but they woke up. And they realized there was an opportunity. And they have seized that opportunity. And the truth is this, that when a whole group of people out there, including you, wake up and you think, hold on a second, I've been lied to. I've been lied to my entire life. You look automatically, you start searching for the truth. Well, what is the truth then? If that's a lie, what's the truth? And you happen upon a group of people who are revealing some truths. But woven into those truths are misnomers, lies, inaccuracies, made up solutions, ego, right? When you come across those people, the problem that you've created for yourselves is that you haven't questioned those people. You should have learned that if you've been lied to, you need to now apply some kind of discernment to people that are giving you information in the future. You need to question what they're saying. And this is where, in your pursuit and your hunger for truth, this is where you've made a bit of a boo-boo. You've trusted these people. Look, I'm not going to shoot you down, right? Because I actually feel it's the responsibility of those doing the teaching to give accurate information, right? It's their responsibility. But, remember, I don't tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. It is also your responsibility to question those people, right? That's your responsibility. You ultimately are responsible for the decisions you make. You ultimately are responsible for buying a trust from someone that has just created a pile of gobbledygook. That doesn't mean they're not accountable, but you have to accept some of that responsibility. Oh, look, maybe on the balance of things, you've got, say, 5% of that responsibility, and they've got 95% of that responsibility. But you still have some responsibility there. Okay? Anyhow, I hope that has provided you with the necessary tools to go and question anyone who's selling these alleged non-legal trusts, or these alleged trusts that stand outside of legal land, or these alleged lawful trusts, right? Until next time, big love and have an amazing festive holiday. See you all.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement